The hum of the laboratory was steady, but tension filled the air. Alex Rayner stood before the energy monitor, tracing the storm's pulsing waves with his fingers. The storm had paused slightly during his experiment, but it was far from controlled. The council wanted results, and if he failed, billions of lives would be lost. Across the observation deck, alien delegates watched him with skepticism, their arms, tentacles, or glowing appendages folded in judgment. They had fleets of starships, armies of engineers, and centuries of knowledge, but Alex, a single human, had created the only device that had made even the slightest difference. "You are wasting time," one Zorvian scientist said, his voice sharp. "Your device barely held against the storm. A larger attempt will destroy everything. We need something far more powerful." Alex turned, his green eyes calm. "Power alone will not work," he said. "The storm adapts. Every force we send against it is met with resistance. That's why your fleets failed. We need to understand it, not fight it blindly." The room fell silent. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. They had grown used to thinking in terms of raw strength and advanced technology, but Alex had reminded them that intelligence alone, when rigid, could fail against something unpredictable. He returned to his device. The small, simple machine hummed, lights blinking as it analyzed the storm's energy pulses. He noticed a slight irregularity in the rhythm, a repeating sequence that no computer had flagged. Most species relied heavily on advanced artificial intelligence, but Alex relied on human intuition. His mind made connections that machines could not see. He scribbled furiously in his notebook, sketching lines and curves. Each adjustment was small but precise, carefully tuned to the storm's unique pulse. As he worked, the storm on the monitor rippled and shifted, almost as if responding to him. "See?" Alex said quietly, mostly to himself. "It's not random. It's listening, it's reacting." A Lurian engineer approached. She was taller than most humans, her blue skin shimmering in the lab lights. "Human," she said softly. "How do you know this will work?" "It looks too simple." Alex smiled faintly. "Sometimes the simplest solutions are the ones no one sees. Complexity can blind you. You rely on your machines and calculations. They miss the little patterns." The Lurian frowned, unsure whether to trust him, but before she could speak further, the council chair, Yalren, entered the lab. The ancient being's eyes glowed faintly as he observed the monitors. "Human," Yalren said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "Your small device worked where our fleets failed, but we cannot risk entire star systems on guesses. You must prove your method can scale. Can you?" Alex nodded. "I can, but I need a team and time to test it properly," the council murmured. "A human leading a team?" Some delegates scoffed openly. "He is inexperienced," said a Zalari engineer. "We cannot trust billions of lives to a single human's intuition." Yalren raised his hand, silencing the room. "Let him try. Assign him a small team and provide the necessary resources. We must act before the storm reaches inhabited sectors." Reluctantly, a small team was assembled. Alex chose carefully, seeking individuals who could listen, adapt, and follow instructions, rather than simply rely on preconceived notions. The team included the Lurian engineer, a Zorvian programmer who had been quietly observing him, and a few other young but skilled specialists from various species. Alex led them to a larger experimental platform, one capable of deploying a scaled-up version of his device. The storm's pulses were displayed across a massive holoscreen, waves of energy rippling through space like liquid fire. "This is different from your fleets," Alex said, addressing the team. "We're not trying to overpower it. We're trying to work with it, to understand it, and to respond in real time." The first test began. The device extended a field toward the storm, analyzing its pulse and adjusting frequencies in milliseconds. The storm surged toward them, threatening to engulf the platform. Alien engineers tensed, expecting disaster. For a moment, everything seemed lost. The storm's energy intensified and alarms blared across the platform. But Alex remained calm. "Adjust the modulators. Match the third pulse with the second now." The team worked quickly, guided by Alex's precise instructions. Slowly, the storm's energy began to stabilize. The pulse slowed, compressing in response to the device. The monitors displayed small, controlled patterns in the chaos. The Zorvian programmer, who had doubted Alex, muttered under his breath, "It's actually working." Alex did not smile. "Not yet. We're only halfway there." Over the next hours, the team refined their approach. Alex noticed subtle changes in the storm's rhythm, tiny variations in energy flow that no machine could predict. He guided the team to adjust the device continuously, matching the storm's responses in real time. Other species watched from the gallery, unable to intervene. They were astonished. The storm, which had destroyed entire fleets and star systems, was responding to the human-led device. But it was not easy. The storm was intelligent, adapting quickly to any new energy input. One mistake, one miscalculation, and the device could fail. Alex stayed focused, reading the storm's pulses like a language, anticipating its next move. Hours passed, and the first major breakthrough came. The storm's forward movement slowed significantly, its energy waves less chaotic. Small sections stabilized, creating pockets of calm where star systems could survive. A cheer erupted from the observation deck. Aliens who had dismissed Alex as inexperienced now stared in awe. The young human had done what the galaxy's greatest minds could not. Yet Alex knew the battle was far from over. "This is only a test," he told his team. "We've shown it can be influenced. Next, we must find a way to control it fully, or it will consume the sectors beyond this one." The council called a meeting after the successful test. Delegates crowded into the chamber, whispering in disbelief. Some were angry that a human had surpassed their most advanced technologies. Others were impressed, perhaps even humbled. Yalrin addressed the room. "The human has demonstrated a method that works. It is unorthodox but effective. We will allocate additional resources to scale up this approach. He will lead the operation. All members of the council are to cooperate fully." Some delegates grumbled, but none dared openly oppose the decision. Alex's results spoke louder than any argument. Back in the lab, Alex and his team worked tirelessly. They designed a larger device, capable of interacting with the storm on a planetary scale. Alien engineers brought exotic materials, advanced circuits, and energy amplifiers. But Alex insisted on keeping the design simple, focusing on adaptability rather than sheer power. "This storm reacts too fast for rigid systems," he explained. "We need flexibility. It will change its pattern if we overcomplicate our approach. Keep it simple, responsive, and adaptive." The team adjusted, learning to trust Alex's judgment. Slowly, they began to see the truth. Human intuition and hands-on problem-solving could succeed where calculations alone failed. One evening, as the storm approached a critical sector, the device was ready. The team gathered, tension thick in the air. Alex looked at each member, their faces reflecting fear, hope, and trust. "Remember," he said, "we're not trying to fight it. We're listening, responding, and guiding it. Stay calm, stay focused, and we can make a difference." The device was activated, sending a pulse toward the storm. Energy waves collided, and for a moment chaos reigned. The storm pulsed violently, testing the device. Alien engineers shouted over alarms. The platform shook. Alex adjusted the modulators, read the patterns, and guided the team. Slowly, the storm began to respond. Sections stabilized, energy waves synchronized, and forward motion slowed. "It's working," whispered the Lurian engineer. "It's really working." Alex did not speak. He kept adjusting, focusing on the storm, guiding the team. The galaxy's greatest minds had failed. But here, on this small platform, one human's touch was beginning to change everything. And as the storm paused even slightly, Alex realized that this was only the beginning. The storm was alive, intelligent, and unpredictable. But with observation, patience, and human intuition, it could be guided. For the first time, the galaxy saw hope. A human's insight, overlooked by others, had opened a path to survival, and Alex knew that he would need every ounce of courage, ingenuity, and determination to see it through, because the storm was not finished. It was learning, and so must they. The storm was no longer a distant threat. It moved like a living shadow through the galaxy, consuming planets and scattering fleets in its path. Every star system it touched sent distress signals. Millions of lives were at risk, and the Council's fleets, despite their numbers and advanced technology, could only retreat in panic. Alex Raynor stood on the command deck of the experimental platform, his eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the storm. His small team worked tirelessly, adjusting the larger device that now pulsed with energy designed to interact with the storm. The hum of power filled the room, and the lights flickered as the energy waves clashed with the storm's chaotic pulses. "Human," a voice said from behind. It was Thalara, the Lurian engineer. Do you really think this can hold against the full force of the storm? Alex did not look away from the projection. It's not about holding it, he said calmly. It's about guiding it. We can't stop it by force. We have to work with it, anticipate it, and respond in real time. Thalara frowned. I've never seen anyone approach a problem like this. Not with all the scientists in the galaxy. Alex smiled faintly. That's because they rely on calculations and machines. Machines are fast but rigid. They can't adapt in real time. That's where humans make a difference. Across the room, the Zorvian programmer muttered to a colleague. He's different. He sees things we can't. Maybe we underestimated him. The storm surged suddenly, faster than anyone expected. Energy waves collided with the platform's shields, causing alarms to blare. Lights flickered as the room shook. The device's energy field pulsed violently, struggling to maintain stability. Adjust the modulators, Alex shouted, his voice calm but urgent. Sync with the second pulse. Now respond to the third wave. The team worked quickly, following his precise instructions. Unlike automated systems, their human-guided adjustments allowed them to respond instantly to the storm's unpredictable behavior. Slowly, the storm's pulses began to stabilize, small sections becoming calmer. It's holding, Thalara whispered, astonished. We're actually holding it. Alex did not relax. He knew the storm was learning, adapting. If they made one mistake, it could destroy the platform and everyone on it. Keep monitoring the pulse patterns, he instructed. Stay focused. It's testing us. Hours passed. The team adjusted, recalibrated, and adapted to the storm's changes. The energy field they created was flexible, responding in real time to the storm's chaotic pulses. Small pockets of stability appeared within the storm, enough to prevent it from consuming nearby star systems. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, delegates watched in disbelief. The young human, whom they had dismissed as inexperienced, was achieving what their fleets and advanced technology could not. Unbelievable, muttered a Zellari elder. He is ordinary in every way, yet extraordinary in thought. Perhaps humans are not to be underestimated. The storm, sensing the resistance, pulsed violently again. This time, the energy waves targeted the platform directly. Alarms blared, and the room shook violently. Some members of the team were thrown off balance, but Alex remained steady, reading the patterns in the storm's pulses like a language only he could understand. Divert power to the secondary modulators, he commanded. Focus on the adaptive sensors. Respond to the fifth pulse, then the seventh. The team obeyed instantly. Their hands moved with precision, guided by Alex's insight. Slowly, the storm's waves began to conform to their influence. Small sections stabilized, and the forward surge slowed. A cheer broke out in the observation deck. Delegates from multiple species stared in awe. The storm, which had destroyed countless fleets, was now responding to the guidance of a human-led device. Human, Yelren, the council chair said, his voice calm but firm. Your actions are proving that our greatest minds underestimated you. Your intuition, your flexibility, it is unlike anything we have seen. Alex nodded but did not speak. He knew this was only a temporary success. The storm was intelligent, adaptive, and unpredictable. They could not rely solely on their current methods. Over the next several hours, Alex guided the team through a series of adjustments, fine-tuning the device to match the storm's complex rhythms. Each pulse required careful observation, rapid calculation, and split-second decisions. The team worked in harmony, responding to the storm as a single unit, guided by human intuition. During a brief pause, Alex gathered the team. We've slowed it, he said, but it's learning. The next surge will be stronger, faster, and more unpredictable. We need to stay adaptable. Every wave is different. We can't rely on brute force. We must anticipate, respond, and guide. The team nodded. They had learned to trust his judgment even as delegates above continued to debate the limits of human capability. The storm surged again, and this time, the challenge was greater. The energy waves targeted the outer defenses of the platform, shaking the structure violently. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, and consoles sparked. Focus on the rhythm, Alex shouted. Ignore the chaos, respond to the pulse. The team worked with precision, guided by his commands. Slowly, the storm's energy began to synchronize with the device. Sections stabilized and the forward surge slowed further. For the first time, the storm hesitated. The energy waves, once wild and destructive, now showed pockets of calm. The platform remained intact. The galaxy's greatest fleets had failed, yet here a single human had guided a small team to success. Talara glanced at Alex. How are you doing this? She asked, awe in her voice. Alex smiled faintly. Humans have a different way of thinking. We observe, adapt, and improvise. Machines and calculations are fast but rigid. They follow rules. We can bend them, change them, and respond in real time. That is the human advantage. Across the observation deck, delegates whispered among themselves. Some were impressed, others shocked. For centuries, humans had been seen as ordinary, even fragile by more advanced species. Yet Alex was proving that humans possessed a unique ability: adaptability, courage, and intuition. The storm pulsed violently one final time, testing the team. Energy waves collided with the platform, shaking it to its core. For a moment, it seemed as though everything would fail, but Alex remained calm, guiding his team through each pulse, each response. Slowly, the storm's energy began to stabilize. Forward motion slowed, and sections of the storm showed patterns of calm. The device held, and the team breathed a collective sigh of relief. Yalrin's voice echoed across the chamber. The human has done what our fleets could not. The storm responds, at least temporarily. This is a turning point. Humans may indeed hold the key to survival. Alex did not celebrate. He knew the storm was still alive, intelligent, and unpredictable. But for the first time, the galaxy had hope. A small team, guided by human intuition, had held back a threat that had seemed unstoppable. As the team repaired the platform and prepared for the next test, Alex reviewed the storm data once more. He noticed subtle patterns, slight variations that suggested the storm was learning from their actions. They had slowed it, guided it, but the battle was far from over. Tomorrow, he said quietly to the team, we push further. We will expand the device, improve synchronization, and guide the storm even more. But we must remain vigilant. It is intelligent, it adapts. And so must we. The team nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. They had seen the storm's power, felt its destructive force, and witnessed firsthand how fragile their position was. Yet they had also seen what one human's touch could accomplish. Outside, the storm raged, vast and merciless. Entire systems trembled under its energy. But now the galaxy had a new hope. One human had shown that intuition, courage, and adaptability could succeed where the galaxy's greatest minds had failed. And as the platform hummed with energy, Alex Raynor quietly prepared for the next stage. The storm was learning. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's touch was beginning to change everything. The storm had grown larger, faster, and more unpredictable. It swept through the outer sectors with devastating force, consuming everything in its path. Evacuation fleets struggled to keep pace, and communication networks across star systems were failing. Every corner of the galaxy watched in fear as a threat beyond comprehension approached. Alex Raynor stood on the expanded platform, staring at the holographic display of the storm. The energy waves were wild, enormous, and intelligent in their movements. Even now, after weeks of study and countless experiments, the storm adapted to every action they took. Yet Alex did not falter. His team of humans, Lurians, Zorvians, and others stood beside him, tense but trusting. This is it, Alex said quietly. If we fail now, billions of lives are at stake. But if we succeed, we will show the galaxy that even the impossible can be faced. Talara, the Lurian engineer, placed her hand on a control panel. The storm is massive. It's faster than any prediction. Are you sure our device can handle this? Alex glanced at her, calm and focused. Not on its own. But we don't rely on the device alone. We rely on adaptability, observation, human intuition. We've slowed it before. Now we need to guide it completely. He adjusted the sensors on the device, analyzing the storm's chaotic pulses. For the first time, he noticed a subtle rhythm, almost like a heartbeat hidden in the chaos. It was small, almost imperceptible, but it repeated. The storm had a pattern, and Alex realized this was the key. We've been trying to react, he said to the team. Now we're going to anticipate. We're going to match its rhythm, not fight it. Every pulse has a pattern if you watch closely. It's intelligent, yes, but predictable in its own way. The team began working furiously, recalibrating the device to sync with the storm's pulse. Alien engineers raised concerns. This is too dangerous, a Zorvian programmer shouted. We've never dealt with something so massive before. Alex ignored them. This isn't about fear. It's about understanding. If we can match the rhythm, we can stabilize the storm long enough to guide it away from populated sectors. Hours passed as the team tested, adjusted, and recalibrated. Each attempt revealed subtle insights about the storm's behavior. Sections of the storm responded to changes in the device, small but noticeable. Forward motion slowed. Energy waves stabilized in pockets. Yalrin, the council chair, observed quietly from the viewing gallery. "This human," he murmured to an aide, "sees what our greatest minds cannot. Perhaps we have underestimated them for too long." The storm, sensing resistance, surged violently. Energy waves lashed out at the platform, shaking it. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, and consoles sparked. Some team members were thrown off balance, but Alex remained steady, guiding every adjustment. "Divert power to the secondary modulators," he shouted. "Focus on synchronization. Respond to the fifth pulse immediately." The team obeyed. Their hands moved in perfect coordination, guided by Alex's intuition. Slowly, the storm's waves began to respond. Small pockets of stability appeared, giving hope that the massive threat could be contained. Then, a larger challenge arose. The storm split into two massive fronts, moving unpredictably in different directions. The device alone could not influence both simultaneously. Alex quickly analyzed the pulses, realizing that the storm's behavior was like a conversation between two minds. If he could sync with one front, the other would follow. "Listen to it," Alex said. "We need to focus on the dominant pulse. The other will respond. Trust me." The team worked together, adjusting the device in real time. Alien engineers followed his lead, unsure but trusting his judgment. Slowly, the dominant front synchronized with the device, and the secondary front followed. The storm's chaos began to yield, responding to the guidance of one human and his team. A cheer broke out from the observation gallery. Delegates from multiple species stared in disbelief. The storm, which had destroyed fleets and consumed planets, was now responding to human ingenuity. "Human," Yalrin said, his voice echoing across the chamber. "You are proving that adaptability and courage can surpass pure intellect and technology. The galaxy has much to learn from your methods." Alex did not respond. He stayed focused, guiding his team through the final phase. The storm was still alive, intelligent, and unpredictable, but it had been slowed, guided, and stabilized. Outside the platform, the storm loomed like a vast shadow, massive and terrifying. But now it moved more slowly, allowing evacuation fleets to save countless star systems. Communications networks were restored in some sectors. For the first time in weeks, hope returned. Talara glanced at Alex. "How do you remain so calm?" she asked, awe in her voice. Alex smiled faintly. "Fear doesn't help. Observation, understanding, and adaptability do. That's what humans excel at. We watch, we learn, we respond. That's why the galaxy underestimated us for so long." The team continued to monitor the storm, making minor adjustments to maintain synchronization. They observed patterns in the energy waves, noting how the storm responded to changes in real time. Each pulse taught them something new. Yalrin called for a council meeting. Delegates from all over the galaxy gathered, eager to hear the results. Alex and his team presented their findings, showing how the storm could be guided through observation and synchronization rather than brute force. Some delegates were skeptical. "This method relies on intuition and improvisation," a Zorvian scientist said. "It is unpredictable." "What if it fails?" Alex responded calmly. "Every action has risk. But our method works with the storm, not against it. It adapts, yes, but predictable patterns exist within its chaos. If we listen and respond, we can guide it safely. Brute force cannot achieve what understanding can." The council was silent. They had witnessed the storm's devastation firsthand, and the small but significant victories of Alex's team. Slowly, a realization spread. Humans were capable of something no other species had demonstrated. Flexibility, intuition, and courage could change the course of events, even against overwhelming odds. Alex returned to the platform later, alone. He watched the storm through the transparent shielding, marveling at its raw power. It pulsed vast and unstoppable, yet responding to their guidance. He knew the battle was far from over. The storm was alive, adapting, learning, but now the galaxy had hope. "Tomorrow," he whispered to himself, "we will push further. We will guide it completely, protect the sectors, and show the galaxy that even the impossible can be faced." As the stars flickered beyond the storm, Alex felt a sense of determination. Humanity's unique abilities, adaptability, courage, and intuition had made a difference. And soon the galaxy would see that even a single human touch could change everything. Outside, the storm raged on, massive and intelligent, but its path was no longer entirely uncontrollable. Human ingenuity had created a turning point. The galaxy's greatest minds had failed, but one human had begun to rewrite what was possible. And as the platform hummed with energy, Alex and his team prepared for the final phase. The storm would test them further, push them to their limits, and force them to adapt. But they were ready. Because humans, Alex knew, thrived where others could not, and the galaxy was about to witness the full measure of human ingenuity. The storm had reached its full power. Entire star systems trembled under its energy waves, and evacuation fleets worked frantically to save millions of lives. The galaxy watched in fear, knowing that if the storm reached the populated sectors, there would be mass destruction. Alex Raynor stood on the command platform, flanked by his small but determined team. The device they had built had grown from a small experimental machine into a massive structure capable of influencing the storm on a galactic scale. Lights flickered across the control panels as energy pulses rippled through the platform. "This is it," Alex said quietly. "Every decision, every adjustment counts. The storm is intelligent, it adapts, but we know its rhythm now. We can guide it, but we must stay focused." Thalara, the Lurian engineer, tightened her grip on a control console. "The storm is enormous. It's faster and more chaotic than ever. Are you sure this will work?" Alex looked at her calmly. "It has to. And it will if we stay adaptable. Watch the pulses. Listen to the rhythm. Respond, don't react. That is how humans do it," the team nodded. Alien engineers, programmers, and analysts who had doubted Alex now followed his lead with trust. They had learned to observe, adapt, and respond in real time. Every species on the platform was now part of a single, coordinated effort guided by human insight. The storm surged suddenly, its energy waves colliding with the device. Alarms blared and the platform shook violently. Sparks flew from consoles and some crew members were thrown off balance. "Adjust the modulators. Focus on the 5th pulse," Alex shouted. "Match the rhythm now." Hands moved in perfect coordination. Alien engineers recalibrated circuits while humans monitored energy patterns. Slowly, the storm's waves began to respond. Small sections stabilized, forming pockets of calm. The forward surge slowed. Across the observation deck, delegates from dozens of species watched in disbelief. They had seen fleets of the galaxy's greatest minds fail against this storm, and yet here one human and his team had begun to control it. "This is incredible," whispered a Zorvian elder. "A human is guiding the storm, not fighting it." Alex continued to adjust the device, reading the storm's subtle shifts. He noticed a repeating pulse hidden within the chaos. "It's listening," he said quietly. "The storm is reacting to our actions." Keep the device synchronized with its rhythm. Every wave counts. Hours passed. The storm tested them relentlessly. Each surge was stronger, faster, and more unpredictable than the last. Yet Alex and his team responded, adjusting the device in real time. The combination of human intuition and alien technology began to show results. The storm's energy became more controlled, more predictable. "Almost there," Alex said. "Stay focused. We can stabilize it completely, but only if we continue to adapt." Then came the critical moment. The storm split into multiple fronts, moving unpredictably in different directions. The device could influence only one front at a time. Alex analyzed the pulses quickly, realizing the storm's behavior resembled a conversation between separate minds. "Listen carefully," he instructed. "Focus on the dominant front. The others will follow. Adjust your outputs to match its rhythm." The team worked in perfect harmony. Humans, Lurians, Zorvians, and others responded instantly to Alex's commands. Slowly, the dominant front synchronized with the device, and the secondary fronts began to follow. The storm's chaotic energy waves calmed. The forward surge stopped. A cheer erupted across the observation deck. Delegates from every corner of the galaxy stared in awe. The storm, which had consumed fleets and entire star systems, was now responding to human-guided technology. Yalrin, the council chair, addressed the room. "The human has done what the galaxy's greatest minds could not. Through observation, courage, and adaptability, the storm is now under control. Humanity has proven its worth." Alex did not celebrate. He knew the storm was still alive, and any mistake could reverse their progress. But he allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The galaxy's greatest threat had been slowed, guided, and stabilized, and it had been done with human insight at the center. Over the next several hours, the team fine-tuned the device, guiding the storm further from populated sectors. Entire fleets and colonies watched as energy waves that had once been destructive became gentle, controlled, and even predictable. Communications returned to normal, and evacuation operations continued safely. For the first time in weeks, the galaxy experienced hope. Systems that had been on the verge of annihilation were saved. Alien scientists who had dismissed humans now looked on with respect and admiration. Thalara approached Alex, her blue skin shimmering in the light of the platform. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "Without your guidance, billions of lives would have been lost." Alex shook his head. "This wasn't about me. It was about observing, understanding, and adapting. We all worked together. Humans have intuition, yes, but every member of this team contributed. That's how we succeeded." Even the Zorvian programmer who had doubted Alex from the beginning nodded in agreement. "I've never seen a species think like this. Humans are remarkable." The storm now hovered far from the galaxy's populated sectors. Its energy waves, once uncontrollable, pulsed gently as if tamed. The massive threat had been redirected, guided safely away by the combined efforts of one human and a small team. The council convened immediately to recognize Alex and his team. Delegates from every species crowded into the chamber. For the first time, humans were seen as equals, not just bystanders. The galaxy had witnessed their courage, ingenuity, and adaptability. Yalren addressed the chamber. "Humans, led by Alex Raynor, have demonstrated that intelligence is not only measured by technology or computation, but by insight, courage, and adaptability. The galaxy owes them gratitude. Their contribution has changed the course of events. Humanity has earned its place among the galaxy's most respected civilizations." Delegates erupted in applause. Aliens who had once doubted humans now bowed in respect. Alex remained humble, though he felt pride swell within him. For centuries, humans had been underestimated. Now their unique abilities had saved billions of lives. Later, in the quiet of the command platform, Alex reviewed the storm's energy patterns once more. The massive energy field had been tamed, but he knew the storm was intelligent and adaptable. They had won this battle, but future threats would require the same courage, insight, and human touch. Thalara joined him. "What happens next?" she asked. Alex smiled faintly. "Next, we make sure the galaxy remembers. We prepare for the next challenge. Humans may be ordinary in appearance, but our perspective, our hands-on approach, and our courage can change everything. This is only the beginning." News spread quickly across the galaxy. Humans were no longer underestimated. Their ability to adapt, improvise, and think intuitively had earned them respect, admiration, and trust. The galaxy's greatest minds had failed, but one human's touch had changed the course of history. In the days that followed, Alex and his team were celebrated as heroes. Leaders from countless civilizations came to learn from them, study their methods, and understand how human ingenuity had guided the storm. But Alex remained focused, already thinking ahead. He knew the galaxy was full of challenges, some even greater than the storm, and he knew that humans, with their intuition, courage, and adaptability, would be ready to face them. The energy storm, once a symbol of unstoppable destruction, had become a testament to human ingenuity. Its waves now pulsed gently, harmless, and controlled, a reminder that even the greatest threats could be faced with observation, understanding, and courage. And so the galaxy learned a new truth. Humans were not just another species. They were capable of seeing what others could not, adapting where others failed, and changing the course of events with a single touch. Alex Raynor looked out at the calm stars, the once massive storm now a distant, tamed force. He knew that this was the moment when humanity had earned its place among the stars. The galaxy's greatest minds had failed, but one human had succeeded. And with that success came hope, inspiration, and a legacy that would last for generations. The galaxy was safe for now. And the human touch had shown that even in the face of the impossible, courage, insight, and adaptability could change everything. The first morning aboard the awakened ship was quiet, almost peaceful. But the air buzzed with tension and anticipation. Commander Jalen Rhee stood in the central chamber, arms crossed, watching his crew prepare for the first real test, moving the ship under its own power. "Are we ready?" he asked, voice calm but firm. Mira Tanaka, floating near the control panel, nodded. "Ready as we'll ever be. The heart is responding well to our adjustments. It's anticipating our commands now." Dr. Elias Vorn, the historian, studied the glowing symbols on the walls. "I've translated some of the instructions. The ship can adjust its core power, control shields, and even manipulate space currents in small areas. It's sophisticated far beyond anything in the galaxy today." Jalen raised an eyebrow. "Sophisticated is good, but can it be trusted to follow human commands?" Mira smiled. "It already does in small ways. It's learning to trust us. That's more than many species can claim with their own machines." The crew floated toward the command deck. The heart pulsed beneath them, strong and steady. The console lit up with alien symbols that rearranged into shapes humans could interpret: stars, roots, engines, and defensive systems. Jalen pressed the first button, and the ship vibrated softly. It was alive, moving slightly as if stretching after a long sleep. "Steady," he said. "Let's test basic navigation first." Mira entered coordinates for a simple flight pattern around the planet. The engines responded. The ship lifted off smoothly, dust clouds swirling beneath it. Its immense size seemed less threatening when it moved gracefully through the air. Dr. Vorn let out a small laugh. "It's beautiful, ancient, powerful, and yet it obeys humans." The first flight was cautious. The ship hovered, turned, and adjusted its altitude without hesitation. But when Jalen attempted a sharp maneuver, it shuddered. Panels groaned, and the hum of the heart faltered for a moment. "Hold it," Jalen said. "We're pushing too fast. Mira, stabilize the power core." Mira worked quickly, her hands moving over the controls with precision. The hum returned, steady and confident. The ship seemed to relax, almost as if it had learned from the mistake. "This is incredible," Dr. Vorn whispered. "It's learning as we go. That's adaptive AI at its finest, or whatever you call a living ship." Jalen nodded. "We're not just flying a ship. We're partnering with history. If other species think this is scrap metal, they're wrong. Very wrong." As the ship soared above Layer 7, the team began exploring its systems. They found hidden rooms filled with tools, small drones, and archives of star maps. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing battles, trade routes, and distant star systems humans had never charted. Mira tapped a sequence on the console. A holographic model of the ship unfolded, showing its adaptive shields, weapon placements, and energy flows. This technology, it's centuries ahead. Adaptive shields that can reshape to absorb energy. Engines that can manipulate gravity to move faster than light in short bursts. "We have to study every part carefully." Dr. Vorn studied the images, awe on his face. "Imagine the possibilities. Humans could defend colonies that were once vulnerable. We could explore star systems faster than anyone thought possible. And this ship? It's only one of its kind, or maybe one of a few. The galaxy doesn't even know it exists yet." Jalen looked out the viewport. "Let's hope it stays that way, at least until we understand it." Other species are quick to judge humans when they see power they don't control. Meanwhile, in a nearby star system, alien observers had already taken notice. Sensor readings from Layer 7's energy surge were unusual. Most dismissed it as a minor anomaly, but some analysts saw patterns that suggested a ship unlike anything known. "What is this?" an alien commander demanded. "Energy readings. They match nothing in our database." "Could it be a relic from the old wars?" "Relics do not fly," another replied. "And yet it moves. Observe it carefully. Humans are involved, that is concerning." Back on Layer 7, the human crew continued their cautious flight. They tested speed, turning and hovering. Every response from the heart was a mixture of strength and curiosity. It adjusted shields, optimized engines, and even created a low-level defensive field around the ship. Mira floated to the console. "Commander, look at this. The heart is showing us history. It's projecting star maps, fleet positions, and even battle simulations. It's teaching us." Dr. Vorn's eyes widened. This was a command ship. It once led fleets. The AI, or heart, was designed to remember strategy, tactics, and alliances, and now it's sharing that knowledge with humans. Jalen's jaw tightened. This is bigger than we imagined. Other species think we are weak, but they have never seen humans in action. They have never seen how we learn, adapt, and endure. This ship, this heart, it's going to change that. The first flight lasted hours. By the end, the humans had tested all basic functions: navigation, shields, engine control, and even defensive protocols. The heart had not resisted. It had cooperated, adapted, and responded to human ingenuity. Mira floated back to Jalen. It trusts us more with each maneuver. I can feel it. And the more we work together, the more it will show us its true capabilities. Dr. Vorn nodded. This is history unfolding. The galaxy will never be the same once humans show what they can do with this knowledge. Jalen allowed himself a small smile. We did well today, but this is only the beginning. Tomorrow we push further. We test weapons, systems, and communication protocols. We learn everything the heart can teach us, and we do it carefully. We are not here to conquer. We are here to understand and protect. As the humans prepared to land the ship back on Leora 7, Mira paused at the viewport. She noticed a faint signal flickering in the distance. Small unmanned probes, likely sent by alien factions, hovered at the edge of the planet's atmosphere. They observed silently. "Commander," she whispered, "we're not alone. Someone is watching us." Jalen's expression darkened. That was expected. Other species will notice a power like this eventually, but we are not afraid. Let them watch. Let them see that humans are not just survivors. We are innovators. We are protectors, and we will not be stopped by fear or mockery. The ship touched down smoothly, settling on reinforced supports the humans had installed. Dust rose in quiet clouds around it. The heart's hum grew softer, almost like a sigh of contentment. It had been tested, it had learned, and it had accepted its new crew. Mira floated to the core, placing a hand gently on its surface. You did well, and so did we. Together we can face anything. Dr. Vorn added, tomorrow we will explore its full potential, but tonight we rest. Let the heart integrate what we learned today. Let it strengthen. We have made history today, and the galaxy has not yet noticed. That is our advantage. Jalen nodded, looking at his crew. We are not just reviving a ship. We are reviving hope, ingenuity, and courage. We are proving that humans can breathe life into what others have abandoned. And soon, the galaxy will know it. As night fell over Leora 7, the red sun dipping below the horizon, the ship's lights glowed softly. Inside, the heart pulsed steadily, a rhythmic beat that now included humans. Outside, probes lingered in silence, recording every movement. And within the ship, humans prepared for the next step, fully awakening the heart, learning its secrets, and showing the galaxy what true ingenuity and courage could achieve. The first flight was only the beginning.